If I just have this one thing, then my life will be perfect and I will be happy forever. And that's just not true. Maybe God knows that if I had that thing, my life would be hell. Hey everyone, this is video number 4 in my Jordan Peterson series on his book, 12 Rules for Life. In this video, we're going to talk about rule number 4, which is compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. And so he starts off by talking about how back in the day when a lot more people were living in smaller rural communities, it was easier to feel good about ourselves because there were less people to compare ourselves to, right? There were probably less people in town who were doing exactly what you were doing. But now in this day and age, most of us are connected to the internet, which means we're directly connected to millions of other people on the planet, many of them being smarter than us, better than us. And so it's very easy to feel incompetent because we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people. And so the first point that Peterson makes is it's important for us to realize that success is not black or white. You're not just a failure and you're not just a success. There are vital degrees and gradations of value that we need to recognize, and it's not a binary system. To begin with, Peterson says, there is not just one game at which to succeed or fail, right? There are many games. For example, you could have a really good job, but perhaps your marriage is failing. Or maybe you have an amazing marriage, but you're comparing yourself to your boss, and you just cannot compare yourselves to other people like that because there are a lot of different games that we are part of and not just one thing. Also, a lot of the time we have that pressure that we have to win at everything, right? But Peterson says winning at everything might only mean that you're not doing anything new or difficult. And you might be winning, but you're not growing. And growing might be the most important form of winning, right? Because it's that victory over time rather than just in the present moment. And so we have to be grateful for what we have. We have to be grateful for the things that are going well in our lives and not undervaluing those things and overvaluing the things that we don't have. There is real utility in gratitude, Peterson says. It's also good protection against the dangers of victimhood and resentment. And so the next point that Peterson makes is that we are unique. We are so unique that it's really unfair to compare ourselves with anyone else. Each person is just built differently. And there is a limit to how much we can shape our nature and our interests, right? I might have a secret desire to be an NBA basketball player, right? But I'm just not built for that. And that would be unfair for me to compare myself to people like Jeremy Lin, I have to be real with myself and get to know myself, right? What is it that I actually love? What do I genuinely want? Or is it just what other people want for me? And I never really ask myself that question. You can play tyrant to yourself, to your nature, but you will certainly rebel. And that's a guarantee that Peterson gives us. So the next point that Peterson makes is to aim realistically. Treat yourself like a house on Fixer Upper. And Peterson gives this analogy, which I love. He says, when someone is turning a house around, the first thing they always do is hire an inspector to check out the house, right? Make sure the foundation is good or there aren't things growing in places where they shouldn't. And so you hire this inspector to give you a list of all the problems in the house. And you're not going to get angry at the inspector for giving you a list, right? Because that's what you hired them to do. And so when you are inspecting yourself, don't get angry at yourself, right? Because you can't fix something if you don't know it's broken. So where are you broken? And ask that question not with anger, but with gentleness and a level of objectivity. And the challenge is to start our renovations and set things in order voluntarily. So nobody is holding a gun to your head and forcing you to do anything, right? You're doing it voluntarily without resentment, even with pleasure. And that's how we should look upon the state of our internal affairs. So be gentle with yourself and repair trust with yourself. And so this concept of aiming, humans, we're built to aim, right? It's that hunter-gatherer nature inside of us. We're built to aim, and everything else that is irrelevant to us, we're pretty much blind to it. We're very good at ignoring the things that we don't want to see, and that's been proven scientifically. And so in this aim, it also represents a really good thing in that there is a whole world of unknown possibilities that we have yet to explore simply because we've been ignoring them our whole lives. So Peterson says, if things are not going well for you, you might want to consider this, that life doesn't have the problem, you do. Perhaps what you want is blinding you to what else could be. Perhaps you are holding on to your desires in the present so tightly that you cannot see anything else, even what you truly need. And I just love that because I have definitely experienced that in my life where I thought if I just have this one thing, then my life will be perfect and I will be happy forever. And that's just not true. Maybe God knows that if I had that thing, my life would be hell. Because honestly, I don't know what is best for me sometimes. And if we just open up our eyes and if we shift our desires from wanting that specific thing to wanting, anything that will make our lives better, then we open up our minds to so many other new possibilities. And he says, once we do that, once we try to want whatever it is that would make our lives better, he says, then we are on a whole different trajectory. Before, what was right, desirable, and worthy of pursuit was something narrow and concrete, but you became stuck there, tightly jammed and unhappy. So you let go. You make the necessary sacrifice and allow a whole new world of possibility hidden from you because of your previous ambition to reveal itself. And I think that's so beautiful. And I know that personally for me, because I am such a perfectionist and I'm an achiever. And so if you can't tell from these videos, I like to make things. I like to make videos. I like to make content. And in my life, I like to achieve goals. And sometimes I can be very narrow in what my goals are in the bigger picture. And that's probably not good for me because when I do that, I sort of block out a lot of the other possibilities that honestly might make me a lot happier, but I never even knew they existed, right? So Peterson talks about, once we have this desire, I want whatever will make my life better. The process of maturity leads us to sort of revise that a little bit to whatever is good with a capital G. And that's where religion comes into the story. So we all know ethics is the study of right and wrong. Well, religion is a little deeper than that. Religion concerns itself with not just right and wrong, but with good and evil, which are the archetypes of right and wrong. And a lot of people who have an issue with religion are the people who see the hypocrisy in a lot of Christians or just religious people. Perhaps they say one thing, they preach one thing, but they live out another, right? And so we all know that that is a problem within religious communities, is sort of stopping short of what true religion is. It's not just an external act of obedience, whereas obedience is important, but that's not all that matters, right? We all know that it has to go deeper. He kind of puts it in this way. It's like the elementary school of religion is the Old Testament, the thou shalt not. It's that laundry list that we hear in Sunday school all the time of all the things that we cannot do. And a lot of people get stuck there, but that's just the beginning. And as you mature as a believer, you actually should arrive somewhere at Jesus' Sermon on the Mount in the New Testament, where you begin to embody the message. And it's more than just all the things you shouldn't do, but it's all the things that you are. He talks about that. He says it's the expression not merely of admirable self-control and self-mastery, but of the fundamental desire to set the world right. This is not the cessation of sin, but sin's opposite, good itself. And I think that's beautiful, that religion and faith is not the cessation of sin. It's not just staying away from all those so-called bad things, but actually embodying goodness. It's actually becoming more like Jesus. And I think that's really important. So in conclusion, Peterson just reminds us, start small, live in the present, attend to the day, but aim at the highest good. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this summary and thanks for watching this entire video. If you stayed to the end, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Bye.